Let's see if they can turn two. There's one. And there's two.
Pretty big fish to fry. It's a pretty big fish to fry. My. It's a pretty big fish to fry. It's a pretty big fish to fry. My. Last weekend I very out live. Told myself I'd take time and get some right. I was alive. My.
Oh, little hiccup there in the beginning. Hello, everybody. It's the Turn 2 podcast. Welcome to the premier sports and beer podcast coming to you for multi-state tonight. We are back in our multi-state environment. Turn 2 podcast, sports, beer, premier podcast right here coming at you. My name is Jeff. I am joined each and every week by a conglomerate of very intelligent people. But before we get into sports tonight, we're going to do a little bit of this.
Why don't you go back home to your strip malls and drink your Zimas and Smirnoff Ices? Oh, yeah! The greatest beer in all Zephyr!
Somebody from the bar.
Yeah, I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. I like cool beverage, yeah. Cause I'm feeling kind of parched. Stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the fridge.
All right.
Stick it in the fridge, stick it in the
So,
fridge, stick it in the fridge.
it's summer, and in the summer you need just a fine Pilsner to wash it down. So I'm rocking tonight a Miller Lite. Let's go to Parsippany and see what Nick is drinking.
Jeff, this is a premier podcast, but that does not mean we need to drink premier beer.
No.
Tonight, in honor of the All-Star Game, America's pastime, I got America to drink.
America. You are drinking America.
Correct.
That's
That's what it says on the can.
well, then it must be true. I mean, that's
Right.
usually how it works, right?
Yeah. So
All right. Let's go to our nation's capital,
Round the outside, round the outside.
making his triumphant return.
Guess who's back?
Back again. Yalbo's back. Tell some men. Oh, no? Well, thank you for the intro.
Hey.
I am super jazzed to be back, although apparently my internet is not, or my microphone. I don't know.
No, you sound and look fantastic right now.
Okay, well, in that vein, I'm drinking in my triumphant return. It's summertime. You're drinking a Pilsner. Nikki's disgustingly looking at me drinking America, and I'm drinking Adele's Shandy Pounder. Because why wouldn't you drink one of those when you have 3 left in the fridge? I'm trying to get through all 3 tonight is the goal.
Wow. It's really not good.
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had it? Narragansett?
What? Let me see it. Hold it up and talk.
Narragansett Shandy, Dells. Great father DeLuca made his first frozen lemonade back in Italy in 1840.
No, I haven't had it. Is it from Rhode Island? Is that where it's from?
Yeah, it's the Narragansett Brewery. You can get their Clam Shack 12-pack, which is a mixed pack of all their summer beers. You should check that out.
That sounds like that's right in Nick's wheelhouse right there.
Have you not gotten the Clam Shack 12-pack?
that sounds like that'll last me about 4 months.
No.
If we got him, what is it? The clam shells. What is it?
No, it's not that hard, stupid. 12-pack Clam Shack.
The bearded clam shells?
12-pack clam shack. If we got Nick the 12-pack clam shack, he'd be drinking like number 9 come Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, we should get on that then.
That'd be good. Nick, are you down for something like that?
Absolutely.
Not so fast, Pat Sajak.
Whoops.
Sound bites are back.
Well, Yampo, we are excited that you have returned. A little bit different shot from you this evening. We're looking in your kitchen, it looks like.
Yeah, the playroom is on the playroom's on lockdown. I can roam in the house because my wife and children have left me alone for 3 weeks.
So we have 3 podcasts without them in the house. Is that what you're
Yeah, just absolute mayhem.
So by the 3rd podcast, I'm expecting like Cheeto dust and no t-shirt.
I can tell you the 3rd podcast will definitely be the most aggressive because I have a flight the next day. So I'm not working that Wednesday and I'm flying back up to Michigan. So that one's just like, that might be a bourbon podcast.
Nice.
So
That'll be good.
I'm excited to be back. I'm glad to be here. The kitchen's clean right now, but you're right. A couple weeks could be a different story.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get into it. Either of you boys last night watched the Derby?
Yes.
I watched a scotch.
Okay. Somebody give me something about it. What'd you think?
I enjoyed the format. I thought that was cool. I mean, I think previously when they just had everyone just go at once and then the top guys advance, I thought that was a little kind of redundant and stuff. But the way that it felt, it was like almost like a tournament. So you had that one-on-one matchup, so you kind of know what you need to beat, each time you go up. So I thought that was really interesting.
I didn't. How many times did they change the format in this damn thing? Something about the home run derby. I've lost it since the days of McGuire and Sosa and Bonds and I don't know. There were a couple of years where there was like, who the hell are these guys in the home run derby? And then there was this whole thing like, I'm not participating in the home run derby because I don't want it to affect my swing. Like, come on.
I give those guys credit though, because like Stanton and Judge, like they could have totally pulled a LeBron, like what he does with the slam dunk contest, and be like, no, I don't want to screw up my second half of the year, and they didn't. That they both showed up, and Stanton had a disappointing performance, I guess, if you consider hitting. What did he hit? 15 home runs the first round, didn't move on.
Sorry, Aaron Judge.
I don't know. I mean, I give them credit for actually doing it though. I think baseball. I think that was a win last night for baseball. Anybody?
Oh yeah.
Different way. I mean,
well, I agree with you, Yanpo. I think previously, like home run derby lost its mojo. I haven't really been interested, but last night really rejuvenated the interest. I don't know. It was a bunch of young studs that are just huge guys that were just blasting the ball. I mean, that's incredible.
Bunch of young stud, huge guys. You sound like Brett.
Hot young guys.
Hot guys. Yeah.
I mean, I got to say the format seemed a little bit more concise and crisp. It did get a little drawn out when you got like 8, 9, 10 guys going all at once, first round, moving on. It was good to see, the guys basically just, you're playing this guy and you're playing this guy, and that's that. So I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't have to hear Chris Berman either. I don't like him.
Back. It's like a fucking Aflac commercial. We get it. We get it. You like to go back to the track. Do you think that did you see some of these home runs that Aaron Judge hit? They were just fucking monstrous.
Off the roof.
I mean, he wasn't even swinging. I remember I texted Jeff and I was like, how far could this guy hit a golf ball? You were on the chain. I was like, how far could he effortlessly pipe one down the fairway?
It looked like he was like playing wiffle ball, because at one point he was just like stroking it, like he was in like a rhythm where he hit about 5 in a row, and it was just like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had no body movement.
Yeah, he's just huge.
Probably
everywhere.
Guys,
he's just huge.
Huge. Believe me.
Everything all right there, Jeff? You good?
Yeah, everything's great.
Okay.
I don't understand. When did they change the format? Do you guys know? Like, was it last year, the first year? Was it 2 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, this is the first year I've been really interested in it, to be honest.
I think this year is different than last year. I seem to recall watching a brief few moments of last year's. I don't remember there just being an easy bracket, like 4 guys and 4 guys.
It was just like
maybe JP can call in and confirm for us.
No, listen, guys. I looked it up. I'm in my basement, and actually, I don't know if you know this, but actually, like 8 years ago, they so they changed the format.
Jack.
And but anyway, I think that if they go back to the home run derby format, I think it'd be good for the game. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Oh, good. It's not your show, stupid.
This is what you missed, folks. This is what you missed.
JP, I love you. I'm just fucking with you, but seriously.
Welcome back, Yabo. But yeah, right. It was significantly different. I think even regardless of the one-on-one matchups, like within those one-on-one matchups, almost every single one of them came down to 1 or 2 home runs. Like they were all really, really super tight, which I thought was like, again, it just broke. Sometimes things just break your way. And I think last night absolutely just broke baseball's way.
I couldn't tell if people were like disappointed or in awe of the fact that the final round, like Judge didn't even need half the time to hit 11 homers. He was like the first 4 in a row gone. I mean,
he won with like, I think like 55 seconds left or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Can you imagine though, like, because Sanchez got a lot of shit for being in that derby, and he ends up taking out Stanton in the first round. Can you imagine if both of those guys end up being, forget about 50 home run guys, if both those guys end up being like 35 and $110, like that's nuts. Like we legitimately could just be watching like the birth of like the next like serious 1-2 punch from in baseball. Forget about the Yankees, just in baseball.
Yeah, but they ruined their swings in the home run derby, so we'll see how they do in the second half.
Who was the first guy to say that?
Who fucking cares? That's where that belongs. Cares.
Okay. Speaking of that, I know this isn't in that segment, but All-Star.
Yeah.
Anybody care?
No, I mean, I don't care, but I'm glad that they finally got rid of this whole like this time it counts. Like that was a Bud Selig. I'm trying to make something happen, trying to make something matter that doesn't matter at all. I mean, 10 of the last 13 World Series winners had home field advantage. I just think it's totally preposterous. This is like an arbitrary game. These guys don't give a shit.
No, I think the All-Star game, though, is the best by far out of the 4 sports and All-Star games. I mean, it's hard to kind of like.
Are you smoking crack today?
How is that not the best?
Please defend that. Please defend that statement.
It's the only one out of the 4 where the players don't make a complete joke out of it.
That is maybe the stupidest freaking thing you've ever said on this.
And you said some dumb shit.
Why? What's better?
I can argue hockey is more entertaining.
No, but they make a joke out of it. They're not even trying.
Yeah, but that's what an All-Star game is. It's supposed to be fun and whatever.
I don't think so.
It shouldn't be for home field advantage in a World Series. What happens when your team is 115 and whatever, and you don't get home field advantage because some fucking stupid game in July between a bunch of nobody?
I'm saying the quality of the game is the most competitive out of all 4.
Yeah, because the guys pitch for 1 inning, and then the guy like fuck off, stupid. This game, it's stupid. All All-Star games are stupid. They all need a reboot.
How would you do it?
I have no clue. I cannot support that statement whatsoever.
I don't think you're wrong. Who was it? We
talked about this earlier.
Was it Bryce Harper that came out this week and said that he thinks that the top 2 vote getters should be able to just draft their team?
That would be cool, but who are they copying there?
Like regardless of league?
That could be cool. Like the NHL kind of did it, got away from an East-West and in North America, whatever. They kind of got into just guys picking teams.
Right, but that goes to your statement, yeah. But NHL definitely has a better All-Star weekend than Major League Baseball has their midweek, but it's whatever. The NBA, as garbage as it is, it attracts way more attention than the Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend. The Pro Bowl doesn't really exist, so that doesn't really count. I think it's a third. I think it's the third best. I don't even think it's the second best. Why?
I think in terms of quality of the game, the NBA is just trash. I think it's trash. The NBA.
The whole league or just the All-Star game?
Well, both. But the All-Star game, it's like I don't want to see guys shooting from half court and throwing up like Hail Mary, shots. I think that's stupid.
They did that in the finals.
Yeah, what's the difference?
The whole league sucks.
Considering like eight out of the 10 starting people in the starting lineups were in the NBA Finals. I guess it was essentially the same game, right?
But the point I'm making is when Max Scherzer pitches against Aaron Judge, Max Scherzer's not going to throw like some bullshit, 50-mile-per-hour pitch, and judges are going to swing left-handed. Like they're actually going to like go at each other like for real.
Well, there's $20,000 per player on the line, which is nothing.
Boy. Oh,
listen, you know what?
Whatever, yeah, Paul.
Yeah, but listen, there's going to be some good little clubhouse side bets on that shit. Are you telling me these guys just sitting there betting like, oh, I'll bet you my 20. What? Here we go. Here come the bells. I'm just saying, if I was a Major League Baseball player, I was in the All-Star game and $20,000 on the line, I'd be making some serious side bets and or having a seriously fun night at some point afterwards.
Yeah, you wouldn't get caught or anything.
No, of course not.
Get caught. I'm like Twitter's wet dream. I'm like Harvey, what's that asshole? Harvey Levensteinberg. Jew. I can say that because I'm half Jewish, but I'm like his wet dream. I'm TMZ's wet dream. What? Why is your hand in your head?
Because I'm half Jewish.
So you can say it.
Yeah, I grew up in an environment with a lot. I didn't mean it in a derogatory fashion. I just meant it in the fashion that there's a lot of Bergensteins.
True.
Oh God, come on, everyone, pipe down.
Even though his name is Weinstein,
Close enough.
Yeah, exactly.
kind of the same thing.
Very similar. Oh, nobody got on Brett's case because he didn't know if the guys were white or black. But God forbid I call some guy fucking.
I don't think that statement's true at all. Actually, I think we definitely got on Brett's case because the guy was white or black.
I was super bitter to miss that. But anyway, I digress.
So will either of you watch any of this game, or will it just be like
Yes, I will.
You will. You'll watch the whole thing,
and I'll enjoy it more than your stupid NBA and NHL All-Star games.
All right, pipe down, Peter Pan. It's okay. I'm gonna watch some Game of Thrones Redux because I'm just trying to get it all in before the next season starts. So fuck the All-Star game.
Facebook Live checking in. JP tomorrow. Nice head, Dick. And Chris Gannon says, "How about that no-call home run for hitting the ceiling?" And it was garbage. What was the deal with that? Is that why they made him hit the 20?
Yes. He didn't. He thought he won, but he actually didn't win until he hit that other home run,
which is so stupid
and confusing.
Like the ball was on like an upward trajectory and going forward, and it hit the ceiling. Like that ball, if the roof wasn't closed, that ball still might be in the air.
So what happens in a game? What happens in a real game if that happens?
Well, I think that's why it wasn't a home run. I think it's an out.
Is it?
Oh, it's not an out.
No, I think it might be.
No way.
Yeah. Or a foul ball. It might be a foul ball.
I don't think so. JP, what's the call there?
Yeah.
So guys, I don't know if you know this, but I looked it up, and the rule was changed. And shut up, JP. Coming after me about my head. Yeah, I got no hair. Look at that, huh? Whatever.
Making an Opie and Anthony reference, Dick. You don't even get it.
Yeah, I do. Deke.
You're the worst. So I don't know. We'll see. It's time for the best segment that we possibly
segment
have around here, and some would say that maybe it's the only segment.
Who cares?
JP tomorrow checking in on Facebook Live. He says it's a ground rule double.
Who cares? How does he know all this? Is he sitting? God bless his little soul.
His little soul.
Old little JP and his little tuxedo T-shirt, sitting down in his basement with his ticket stubs in the background.
I don't even know what that means.
Whatever, yeah, Paul.
First one, Floyd Mayweather.
Ugh.
He has filed a petition with the IRS saying he needs an extension because he can't pay his taxes.
Weren't you supposed to do that like before April 15th or 18th actually this year?
Well, apparently he said that, or I guess it wasn't him that filed it. Obviously, it was some manager or lawyer or something that said he has the assets, but they're not liquid.
They are frozen in gambling debt.
And he has a serious event occurring in August where he will get plenty of liquid asset where he can make the payment.
I don't even know what to say about this, but I think it's worth talking about because this is just so preposterous. This is just everything that's wrong with sports culture, and this is just setting a bad example for so many people across so many things. It's just mind-boggling. The guy's on Instagram bragging about his, $50,000 stacks winning gambling debts. Of course, he's not bragging about the losses. There's got to be tons of those, right? That's probably why he doesn't have any money.
No, he doesn't lose.
Yeah, okay. This is just such a bad example for the youth of America. If you do well, you get sports. It's like capitalism is the shit. That's the way it works. I mean, if you run out of money, you didn't work hard enough.
Yeah, that's not right.
No, it's not right.
No. Apparently, I guess you didn't see the press conference today then, right?
I saw the snippet, and I saw that outlandish suit that McGregor was wearing too.
Oh, did you see what the pinstripe actually said?
Yes, I did. It said,
F you.
Drink your Ovaltine?
Crummy commercial?
Oh, fudge. That's what my suit pinstripes would say, just over and over again. Oh, fudge.
Apparently, at the press conference, Floyd was like, "You want to see what a $100 million fighter looks like?" And he took out a check for, I guess, $100 million from something that he has. He's like, uncashed. And McGregor sit there and he goes, so you tell the IRS.
McGregor said he was going to knock him out in 4 rounds.
It's so not happening, but I hope it does.
You know what? I feel like I want to get everyone's just discounting McGregor here.
You going to put some money on it?
Of course I am. I'm a loser. I'm totally going to do that.
How much?
I'm a loser.
I'm a loser. Iggy.
Go, guy. I had a nice night at the MGM Casino in Detroit last week. But I gave all the cash to my wife before I left. I said, here's your allowance for the month of July. Have a great time.
First of all, the MGM Grand in Detroit. Like, what does that look like?
Well, it's interesting. I will say it's interesting. It's the nicest casino in Detroit, and there's a lot. There's the Motor City. Listen, Draymond Green was in there the other night.
I think it's the prettiest woman at the bar at 2:30.
They charge you for drinks, though, at the table.
Of course they do. It's Detroit. They don't have any money.
Oh, come on. Don't be so harsh.
What a dump.
You're a dump. All right, moving on. McGregor's out. Who cares?
So you legitimately don't care that that Mayweather can't pay his taxes?
No, don't care.
What am I supposed to do about it?
I don't know. Pay $99 to watch his fight, which you will do.
No, I'm going to go to a bar.
Mooch off someone else.
You're going to go to a bar with Brett?
Yeah, you know what? It might be fun to come up there and see Brett. Maybe see you. Definitely not see Nick.
He's going to be in Florida.
He's going to be in Florida. Maybe I'll fly to Florida.
You should.
Okay.
You should.
Who cares?
Kevin Durant apparently sold Paul George on Oklahoma City. But he left.
Cricket.
He's like, yeah, it's great, but
if you read the article on ESPN, it was like, oh, it's everything from the team to the personnel, the pregame prep, the chefs, the meals, everything is first rate, first class. You're gonna love it there. Yet he bailed. And I guess the argument is he bailed because he went to go win a championship, which is the same reason Paul George, what's his name? Paul George?
George Paul.
What's it? Whatever.
George Michael
Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
There's always money in the banana stand, Michael.
But it's legitimately like one guy walking into an open house trying to buy it and be like, you're going to love it. The schools are great. Look at this kitchen. It's wonderful. Yeah, but why don't you live here anymore? I got some other places. It's fine. It's totally, you should totally buy this house.
It's in a better neighborhood.
Ridiculous.
It'd be good to see them actually give them a run for their money. I mean, the Thunder and the Warriors, that'd be good. They're
talking about how Paul George, like the whole thing was, well, he's just going to go to the Lakers next year. But then he was like, I think it's been a little overstated because they're assuming that he's already going to go there next year. He's like, well, it might not happen, but let's say him and Westbrook make it to the conference finals, have a great year. Why would he leave to go to the Lakers?
I don't know. Why did Durant leave?
Yeah, how many times did they make it to the conference final?
I mean, look, the bottom line is Paul George leaves to go to LA because LA is a bigger market, and there's rumors that LeBron's going. So
he's not going.
So if Paul George and LeBron go and they team up with the best point guard in the league, Lonzo Ball.
Oh, God.
Clearly, that's a championship team ready to roll.
I don't know about that, but I will say this. I thought that Paul George, a.k.a. George Paul, handled the whole situation leaving Indiana rather well in the sense that he admitted, he was like, listen, we don't get a lot of time to play this game. It's a short window to win a championship. And Indiana, I love you, but I just didn't think we were going to be able to assemble a championship team, and it is what it is, and I'm trying to win a championship. I give him credit for going out and just saying what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I just think it's so fraudulent on Kevin Durant's part. It's like
I agree.
Like the 90th fraudulent thing Kevin Durant's done in the last year and a half.
Like, why even bother saying anything?
What are the other 89?
Big spiel about it. I don't know.
What were the other 89?
Whatever, yeah, Paul.
You got nothing, so you're gonna hit the sound clip all night.
He can hit the sound clip, but when he puts us on the spot, we have nothing.
Yeah. Jeff? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen when the Thunder beat the Warriors next year in the Western Conference Finals?
It's
Durant.
Who cares?
Back to Oklahoma City.
I'm just kidding. Don't answer the question. I tried to set you up with a soundbite, but I just yelled at you.
I don't think it's gonna happen. So
okay, I'll bet you now. $50.
What are you gonna bet me?
$50.
You want to bet me $50 right now?
That's worse than the white man bet the Mets 100 wins.
Yeah, but the white man's gonna owe a lot of money.
That's why he hasn't shown back up.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, I'm running out of town.
He's like, I don't know what this podcast. I don't know who you are.
Who the fuck is Jay Bruce?
The IOC is apparently voting on the 2024 and 2028 Olympics. Los Angeles and Paris are rumored.
Putty.
Cares.
Really?
Yeah, no comment necessary.
I don't care.
Who cares?
Okay.
I think having the Summer Olympics here in the States is just, I don't know. The Olympics are just fraudulent. They're having 3-on-3 basketball. What the hell is that?
And orgies.
Orgies? What?
Yeah, they all like sleep with each other. You
You
ever heard
gotta-
that?
That's how you. That was not well set up.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
You ever
that-
heard
all-
that?
they- all-
The Beijing Olympics and the ones in Brazil, like Michael Phelps and all the swimmers said, like everyone just like sleeps with each other.
What's the problem?
these hot
I'm not
guys.
kidding.
All right. Well, whatever.
All right.
Either way, the Olympics, they're deciding on 2024, which is 7 years from now, and 2028, which is 11 years from now.
Who cares? You need 7 years to set up all the infrastructure for something that then makes your city a ghost town after the Olympics leave.
Well, I guess that's part of my question. Like, what is LA's bid? Like, are they saying, oh, we're gonna have this football stadium and all this other shit that we're putting in?
Well, I think they already have a bunch of things, but there's an opportunity to kind of like revitalize the Forum and kind of redevelop some of the area around the Forum, and then closer to the water. I don't know. I guess here, I don't know. I guess Atlanta had a lot of things that ended up being abandoned or whatever. You see like Brazil,
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
I heard that was the bomb at Olympics.
Ba-da-dum-bum. Nicky doesn't even
Well,
get it because he wasn't born yet.
The Brazilian people were all pissed because they're like, well, we put billions of dollars of infrastructure in for this Olympics, and then now that it's gone, the infrastructure is still stuck here, and we lost all this money.
It's crazy.
Can you do
Crazy.
that? Can you go back and say that since that's what the Brazilians are saying? Can you say it in the best Brazilian accent that you could muster?
I don't even know what a Brazilian accent sounds like.
Really? You don't know?
I actually don't know.
Sounds a lot like Giselle, right?
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, come back to us.
David.
Come back to us, please.
David.
We need you.
I'm back.
You're just rambling through the show here. You're just hitting buttons, and you're not in it to win it.
He's on vacation. What do you think?
I'd say, Jack.
Vacation. I'm on vacation for 2 months. The Knicks. I'll come
Why- why is
Why are the Knicks always in the rundown every week?
Because every week they do something absolutely insane. You can't even imagine what they're going to do next. And
Yeah,
yet
no,
every week they top
No
it.
way did they just do that.
The Knicks are about to make Steve Mills the president. Griffin pulled out of GM contention because they wouldn't let him bring in his own people. This is a franchise that has won one playoff round in 17 years.
Holy shit.
So really, we should really be lobbying to keep Steve Mills and Allen Houston.
Hit it.
I don't even know what to say to that.
You say this. No, you don't. You don't at all. You don't say that at all because my computer
Who
sucks.
cares? You know what the worst part is? We get that news, and then like, oh, by the way, they're increasing season ticket prices, and our reaction was exactly the same, simultaneous. Assholes.
Because they are like, what stones?
How do you justify that to your fan base? I mean, did the Jets do that to you?
No, God, no. No, they haven't.
I mean,
The only time the Jets have raised season ticket prices is when they've come off of a winning season, which in the NFL, like I get it. Like if you're, especially if you're a franchise like the Jets, you got to raise them when you can, because if you have a 3-13 year followed by a 2-14 year, which is what they're probably looking at these 2 years, like they're going 2 back-to-back years
and the belly to belly
without raising season ticket prices. So that you got to raise them when you can.
I want to be a fly on the wall in the room with the corporate brass. That's like, all right, guys, ticket revenue has been a little bit down. I think there's an opportunity to maybe increase some of that revenue, but here's how I think we should do it. I think that we should increase season ticket prices by $10 a tier. It comes up with some asshole scheme, right? And then some other guy in the corner is like, Bill, I don't think that's a great idea because, we haven't won a playoff series in 17 years. You shut up and know your role here, son. Okay? I run the show here. That's all that shit is. It's like, how does that happen?
God, I fucking hate Bill.
Because it's New York, right? So there's a lot of just corporate people that go to the games, right? I don't know. They just assume that they're going to buy the tickets anyway. All the celebrities that sit in the front row.
Hey, JP, aka Statboy, find out how much the ticket prices were increased and let us know.
They're right, though. It doesn't matter what they charge. It doesn't matter how bad they are. They're a franchise that can charge whatever they want and not win, and they're still.
And celebrities will still show up.
It's funny when I had season tickets for the Giants.
It's not even celebrities. It's the Knicks are a part of the fabric of New York City, and there's only a certain number of seats in the Garden, and they're gonna sell out every game. It's just the way that it is. Basketball is big in New York City. Period.
When I had season tickets for the Giants, they won the Super Bowl in 2007. I was like, oh, here it comes. Here comes the increase. No increase. And they made a point to say, we're not going to increase it, right? They had a couple winning seasons, whatever. The next time they won the Super Bowl, they were like, all right, it's time to increase it. They only took it up $10, so it wasn't like egregious. And it's like, all right, the team won 2 Super Bowls the next year, so I get that. But I don't know how, if you're paying out of your own pocket as a regular fan and you go to that many games at the Garden or whatever you do with them, how you can justify paying more money to see this fucking traveling dumpster fire on wheels. It's embarrassing.
I heard next year that what they're going to do is at the start of every game, because they raise ticket prices, they're going to have a free concert of JD and the Straight Shot. He's just going to come out and he's going to play for a half an hour, all covers of Eagles songs.
Okay.
That's good. So Jim Dolan will come out there and play with this little karaoke band that he's assembled before every Knicks game.
How does that?
You don't think that's worth a ticket price raise?
No. If Elton John were doing it, I would say yes. If it was like Caesars, then we're gonna have, or you could get like Billy Joel, who's playing next door at the theater.
We're talking JD and the Straight Shot, Yampo.
I can't.
But that's the problem with these guys, right? Like, he's keeping Steve Mills and Allen Houston around.
I think Nick fell asleep, but that's why I'm going to bring him back in right now by talking about Phil Jackson real quick. What the fuck happened to Phil Jackson?
What do you mean?
Like, what happened to the guy? Is he like, did his brain get taken over? Is this like Men in Black 5 and some fucking weird-ass alien got in his head and took over his body? Because he is like I don't get it. I don't understand how this guy goes from like sitting on the bench and being a mastermind of a 6-time champion Chicago Bulls team, who, by the way, had 2 3-peats back in the day.
Okay, I was gonna say back to back. I was hoping.
I wanted
Back to back.
Which would have been a 6-peat, you dummy.
I think, look, obviously you don't win that many championships in any league, in any position, and not, as a head coach, and not be able to get some credit for it. Obviously, he deserves some credit for it. But let's pull back on this genius mastermind bullshit. Tex Winter invented the triangle offense, and he sat on his bench for the entire time. And anything that had to be taught, Tex taught. So
Abner Doubleday invented the goddamn I'm just like, what? Who cares?
Well, I'm sorry I'm dropping knowledge on you here.
Yeah, you're crushing my basketball knowledge. But I was watching. The reason why I'm asking is because I happen to.
Hold on. Secondly, he had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, who are 2 of the greatest 50 players to ever play basketball. Then he went to L.A. and had Shaq and Kobe, who are also 2 of the greatest players to ever play basketball. So you
tell me that Kristaps and Melo aren't?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. And he's not coaching them. Like, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He took the money. He did everything that he could to be successful at that job. He just was never going to be good at it. Like, you and I could have done that job as well as he did. And we don't have 11 rings to back it up. And that's the reason why he got paid what he got paid.
All right, fair.
You can't fault the guy.
Nothing more to say about that then, I guess.
No, you can't fault the guy for being bad at something that he had never done before and somebody was willing to grossly overpay him to do. The biggest thing about the whole thing is it's gross incompetence from Dolan to put him in that position, to not let him go when he had the opt-out, and he ended up having to pay him like $24 million to not do the job again. And then to promote freaking Steve Mills and to keep the same freaking franchise. I mean, leadership. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, he's busy learning Pure Prairie League Amy with his band. So
I am so close to abandoning.
Don't do it.
So here's my.
Here we go. Don't start this crap.
No, here's my question.
Brett's done it twice.
I have a legitimate question for you. Okay.
No. The answer is no.
Under what circumstances can you abandon a franchise that you root for?
If they move, relocation.
That's it.
And even then, like when we were faced with this with the Devils back in the day and they were potentially going to Nashville, I was like, shit, I guess I'm going to be a Predators fan because these are all my guys. Like, these are the guys I've been rooting for my entire career. And it's like, okay. But then you look at a team like the Hartford Whalers and they move, and how many of those fans really became Carolina Hurricanes fans? I don't think a lot.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But so,
I think hockey's different in the South.
Okay, so what about the Browns moving to Baltimore? I don't think those people became Ravens fans.
no, because they hated their owner for moving them out.
I'm
So
just saying,
all
if
right,
your
You hate
team
your owner.
relocates, if your team relocates, I think that's a fair
All right,
reason
Jeff,
to drop.
go ahead. Go ahead.
that's your contention is relocation.
I say never.
Never. So your team, the Brooklyn Nets, right? That's your team.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
They up and move to
Seattle.
Seattle, right? They become they go back to being the Sonics. You're now going to be a Sonics fan, and you're going to watch games that are West Coast start times.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, like Yampo's saying, it's still the same team that you're rooting for. It's like, let's say the same coach, the same players. It's just to me, it's weird to just start like rooting for the Knicks. I'm not going to root for the Knicks.
Time out. I root for laundry, dude. I don't root for the same coach and the same players. I rooted for Isaiah Thomas, the same way I rooted for Jeff Van Gundy.
Okay, so I'm rooting for laundry then. I'm going to root for the same
I
team.
don't have the same respect for for Isaiah as I do for Jeff Van Gundy.
Well, what do you
that's
want to
because
do? I'm not going to start rooting for the Knicks.
That's because Jeff Van Gundy attached himself to Alonzo Mourning's leg and got dragged halfway across the court. That's why you respect him.
Good point. I'm not saying that you go and you root for a rival. I'm saying at what point do you abandon ship? Is there a legitimate cause for a full-grown adult? I'm not talking like a 7-year-old that hasn't really picked their team yet to go out and abandon their team and root for another team. Obviously, I'm not talking
Okay.
Yankees to a Red Sox fan or anything like. I'm talking like is there any acceptable way for a full-grown adult who's lived their life to abandon their team and root for somebody else?
I still say no.
You say no. Yampo says relocation at best.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how. I don't know how you grow up rooting for a team and you become a diehard fan of a team the way you're a diehard of the Knicks and the Jets. And just because they stink on ice doesn't mean that they're going to stink on ice forever, which is going to make that moment when they win that much sweeter.
Oh, give me a break with that crap.
I don't think it is crap. I think it's legitimate. But I can only speak to that because when the Jets finally had some success and went to those back-to-back AFC title games,
And belly to belly.
that was really, really good. Like if
Yeah.
Did that make you giddy inside?
Nick,
listen,
I'm going to slap the shit out of you.
you don't have to slap the shit out of him because he's a Dolphin fan, and the Dolphins haven't sniffed any bit of success in his entire lifetime.
Well, they did when Ace
You
Ventura
went to the
came out.
playoffs, yeah.
We went to the playoffs.
That's sniffing success, is it not?
No, it's not.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Nick,
Going-
I'm asking you a serious question. Hold on. Nick, how can you, in your educated right sports mind, say that if you've been rooting for a team the majority of your life and they haven't been very competitive and sparsely they've been okay and made the playoffs here and there, but then 1 year in the next 5 to 10 years, the Dolphins make a deep playoff run and win the Super Bowl, you're going to be able to come back and tell Jeff and I that you didn't have the most amazing playoff run. You weren't having the best time ever watching your fucking team, and you didn't just like lose your shit when they won the Super Bowl.
Yes, I know, but the way you said it was just stupid.
I said it with the etiquette and eloquence of Bob fucking Costas. That's why you don't understand it.
Yeah, here we go. All right.
I ran into Bob Costas once in an airport in Miami. He's legitimately 4'11".
Oh, yeah, totally.
And is orange as an Oompa Loompa.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
He really is. I almost actually barreled over him running to a hole in a playoff hole at the President's Cup down here at Robert Trent Jones in 2005. I almost totally took him out.
Tiny, right? He's tiny.
Yeah, he's real tiny.
And he's definitely not the skin tone of a human being.
No, and so is Jimmy Roberts too.
Uh,
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Wait, so Jeff, you legitimately don't think making the playoffs is any sort of success?
He didn't say that.
He said you never sniffed success in your life, and they just made the playoffs. So he's like, "Oh, that doesn't count."
How many times have you, as a Dolphin fan, okay, in your life, and you're how old?
13.
22.
22 in the 22 years that you've been alive. Let's say conservatively, 17 of them you remember. like football seasons.
Okay.
I'm just doing the math, by the way. You were born in 94? 5?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. No wonder he didn't get the Atlanta joke.
He didn't even see the Knicks play the Rockets in the final.
Oh, that's a fucking crime.
So okay. So let's just say 17 years. Is that what we decided on? What do we say?
I guess, yeah, sure. I can remember stuff since I'm like 6 or so. So,
All right.
yeah, about right.
Oh, what a child prodigy you are.
Fucking Doogie Howser over here. The last 17 years of your life, right? How many football seasons have the Dolphins finished where you were like, that was a successful year? Can you count them on one hand?
3.
So you can count them on less than one hand. That's not success, dude.
No, I'm just saying. You're saying like they've never sniffed success. They're,
In your lifetime, they have
Hold
not.
on a second. Nick,
Dan Marino has left. They have not sniffed success.
somewhere along the line, you got butthurt by something I said or what Jeff said. What the point of the discussion was relocation, right? That's the only way I could justify giving up on a team. I said, just because your team stinks on ice isn't a reason to bail on them and start rooting for another team. I just don't know how, I'm a diehard Giants fan, and I can't come up with a scenario in my head where I'm like, I can't root for this team anymore, and I start rooting for the Redskins, or I start rooting for
All right, hold on. No,
the Colts.
I agree with all of that. This is not a matter of my team stinking and walking away from them. That's not what this is.
Well, a poorly run organization. I have plenty of buddies down here who are Redskins fans who hate
What about a scenario? I'll paint this scenario for you.
paint it.
What about the scenario that happened in LA with Donald Sterling when he came out as that horrible racist and they ended up having to force him to sell the team? If they didn't end up having to force him to sell the team, could you have rationalized walking away?
No. I'm not going to let some kooky owner who says some stupid shit impact my love and passion for a team. I think he's an idiot, and I think they did the right thing by getting him out of there, and that's what should have been done. But I'm not going to not root for the team that I love because their asshole owner who has money coming out of his fucking earlobes says whatever the fuck he wants.
All right, so if I come on this show in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whenever it is, wearing a hat of a different NBA team and say I have bailed out of the ship, you're going to vehemently call me a fraud.
I'll probably get in the car, start driving up to your house just to knock on your door and beat the crap out of you.
Okay.
So, Jeff, what was the point of the conversation? So you're trying to get at that you're so pissed off at how the Knicks run their organization that you're thinking about jumping ship?
Yes.
To who? Whom?
I can't disclose that yet because Yampo just told me he was going to beat me up if
Okay, hold on. You wouldn't
He's
really
not
do
going
that.
anywhere. He's got a free house for 3 weeks.
Listen, I know
Yeah,
that
I'm not going anywhere.
he fights people with open hands. I know this about
That
him.
was the old Yampo.
Right. Sorry.
All right. Well, you know what?
No, you want my honest answer? If I was going to pick a team to root for right now, who would it be?
The Timberwolves.
It would be Minnesota. 100%.
But I just had to ask you though, like, isn't part of the reason you grew up rooting for a team either because of your location or a family affinity? Like my dad, I live down here now. I live in Washington. I lived in Washington for 12 years, but my dad and I have been Giants fans my entire life. I grew up diehard Giants.
Right.
People are always like, "Oh, how are you a Giants fan?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm from New Jersey." They're like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Right.
You're just gonna root for the Timberwolves? You have no reason?
No, you know what I'll tell them when they ask?
Oh, fuck! Alexa heard me. Alexa, shut up.
Whatever,
This is JP. I just checked with my Alexa, and the interesting thing, Jeff, here is that if you were going to pick a team, Alexa said that you should pick the Houston Rockets.
Listen, JP's got some serious stats here. He says he's checking in tonight. He says only in college football does making the playoff mean real success.
That's not a stat. That's an opinion.
And he says that considering your age, that means that Nick has never seen Dan Marino actually play.
I saw him the last game only. Okay, the only game.
No,
I
you saw
remember
Ace
him
Ventura.
playing- Listen. The only game I remember him playing was his final game when he got shit on by the Jaguars 62-7 in a playoff game.
62-7 was the score.
Yep,
of
that was
game?
the only time I remember watching him play, and I cried.
But they made the playoffs, so it must have been a successful season.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Ray Finkel.
And a clean pair of shorts.
Basically, the bottom line is we have to move on from that because the Knicks.
Who cares?
Last one I got here. He was singing and dancing last night at the home run derby in his white pants and his orange jersey. Pitbull is joining Jeb Bush's team to buy the Marlins, while Jeter's team went out and got a little guy named Michael Jordan to join it. So I don't know what that means. It looks like Jeffrey Loria, or whatever the hell his name is, who's one of the worst owners in sports, is going to have a couple of really attractive offers to choose from. You have an opinion on either one of those?
I'd love to see Jeter own a team.
That's it?
Not Pitbull?
No.
You don't think that the combination of press conference of Jeb Bush throwing it to Pitbull to introduce a free agent acquisition is just TV gold?
Please clap.
I'm looking at Pitbull on Apple Music, and I want to play a song, but I don't want to make it. I don't want to ruin it because it's gonna be a stupid intro. I'm looking at this guy like, who the fuck are you?
He's weird.
You made some club hits. You're probably from Miami, right? Is he from Miami?
Yes, I'm Cuban.
This is just ridiculous.
Was that your Brazilian accent?
The Cuban accent.
That's
What
terrible.
the fuck, Nick?
Awful.
It's almost as bad as your high school football highlights.
Almost as bad as the Eppo's JR impression.
Oh, that's a Jerry Boyle impression. How's Jerry doing? We should try him again.
I don't know. So anyway, we'll see.
Jeter and here's what I don't understand. It used to be, when did it become such a big deal to own a team, in the sense that it's got to be like everyone's got to create their own super team of owners within the ownership group? Like, what happened to just being like, hey, I'm Bob Kraft, I'm super fucking rich, and I'm buying the goddamn team. I'm Jerry Jones, I'm buying the fucking team. Now it's like, I'm Jeffrey Lurie. I'm Jeffrey Lurie. I don't have a lot of money, so I got Jeb Bush.
Yeah, but Jeter doesn't have enough money, they said. That's why. He can't just buy it by himself.
Jeter doesn't know.
I don't know. I think this is aptly placed in who cares, because who fucking cares? Who cares?
I think you brought up the best point out of any of it, and I don't even think you knew you were making it.
Probably not.
You look at all these guys in the NBA that are joining together, right? They have this big plan to join together. We are, in my estimation, no more than 10 years away from those guys, those four guys, Melo, LeBron, D. Wade, and Chris Paul, owning an NBA franchise together.
10 years? Over, under?
Yep. Over.
I'll take the over.
What the over under is 10 years. Okay.
I'll take the over. I can't do Francesa. I wish I could. By the way, don't miss the 30 for 30 on Thursday. Mike and the Mad Dog.
What a joke that is.
Over.
Oh my God.
10 years.
Am I making you angry, Nick? What's going on here?
Mike and the Mad Dog was like the most overrated show on radio.
You weren't even alive when it started.
I remember it. It's a joke.
I remember it.
Francesa's a dope.
You remember that like you remember Dan Marino losing by 70 to Tom Coughlin's Jaguars. You don't remember Mike and the Mad Dog.
I remember.
They haven't been together in like 10 years, right? Were you 11?
Yeah, I remember.
Do you know the Madonna song I remember?
No.
Of course not. Stupid. I think I'll take the over on that bet, and I'll bet you $1,000.
I know it's a surprise that you're out there trying to bet $1,000 on some hypothetical situation.
It's not hypothetical. You said we are 10 years away.
I'm not taking bets on it.
Why not?
I think that based on what you said, when you look at the people that are trying to join up in ownership groups now, the amount of money that those four guys will have made both on and off the court will position them in place that if they work together with some other like fifth partner that may have a little bit more money, they could own the team.
Okay. Here's maybe what I think. I've been thinking about it since I said it, and you guys have talked a little bit. I think here's what my beef is with this. I've grown up, and Jeter was a Yankee his entire career. Okay. Michael Jordan was a Bull for the majority of his career, and then he had that weird kind of stint with the Wizards and whatever. But like, then you see him, he's like, he owns the Bobcats, and it's like, okay, whoop-de-doo. Now it's like, now he wants to own a baseball team, and it's like Jeter owning the Marlins. Jeter's a Yankee to me. I can't get him in my head as the owner of the Miami Marlins. And maybe that's the issue I'm having with it. And then it's like, who the fuck is Pitbull? Be a silent partner. You ever heard of that? Just throw your fucking cash in the deal.
You want Pitbull to be silent? I think if anything, Pitbull.
Yeah, I do. Because I don't want to know that fucking shitbird who creates the worst fucking songs on earth has enough money to join in and buy a team. That pisses me off.
Pitbull can't stop the party. That's all you need. So would that change your opinion.
I don't want to know that the Las Vegas Golden Knights are owned by some white-haired dude and Britney Spears, Will.i.am, and like 4 other fucking porn stars. Like, I don't want to know that.
Nice.
Doubt it.
I don't. For me, I don't think it doesn't impact me at all.
It doesn't bother you at all.
No, not as long as they run the franchise well. If they're like James Dolan, then yeah, it bothers me. But it doesn't.
Well, the hope is that they put the people in the position, like not a Dan Snyder type situation where you just got more money than God. You want to own a team, and you don't put the right people in the right spots to succeed. That's why the Redskins are just a dumpster fire in their own right.
Nick, do you see any possibility if you had to take the over under on that? What would you think? Do you think that that's something that could actually happen?
No.
You don't. Why?
I think they'll have conflicts of interest. I think a couple of them might want to coach. A couple might want to just sit on their money. I don't know. I just don't think they'll be working well together.
All right. Well, either way.
Who cares? Yeah. All right. Well, that's nice.
Chris in Trenton. You're on the fan. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Mike. First time, long time. Love the show. Thanks for everything you've done for me.
Okay.
Aaron Judge. Did you see him in the home run derby?
No, I didn't watch it at all. Okay. No.
Did you see him? He hit one off the roof.
I do a sports radio talk. I don't watch Aaron Judge.
That bit will never get old for me. You see, Calvin Johnson just came out and basically said, I retired because the Lions had no shot at winning the Super Bowl.
You can't wait for last licks for that. You got to do that.
Oh, are we in last licks?
No.
Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey, with his last I checked 15% approval rating. I haven't seen if it's probably gone down. Went on the WFAN, and he's trying to get Mike Francesa a spot. Well, Nick, what happened? Did you hear?
Yeah, he was on with Evan Roberts in the Francesa time slot. Some guy calls in from Montclair.
Mike from Montclair.
Mike from Montclair, and he just goes off on Christie about, being a fat ass on the beach, and Christie goes off and says, you're a communist, you're coming on swearing on the air, you don't know what you're talking about, and then he goes off on this tangent about how, well, Mike's from Montclair, and people from Montclair don't like me because they're Democrats and blah, blah, blah. But I just think it's
a sitting governor.
What a fucking
sitting governor working at a New York radio station.
Whose son went to my high school. God damn it.
Yeah, I played against his son in baseball, yeah.
Green wave, yay.
Cool. Montville.
I don't know. I just think it's a joke how the guy's auditioning for a job. Meanwhile, he has to do his job until at least November, So it's like.
I wonder if this is like a whole like ripple effect or butterfly effect, if you will, of like Trump being president. Like Christie never really cared what he said anyway, but now it's like gotten even worse. And he's like, well, Trump does whatever the shit he wants, so I'm just going to be outlandish on the radio and say whatever the fuck I want. Like, what happened to these guys having some professionalism? These are people who are elected officials representing the state. I don't know.
They don't have any because the American public doesn't require it of them.
That's a whole nother issue.
That's
a whole nother podcast.
You know what? I would like 1 week to do that. And I don't know if any of you would be interested in it. I don't know if the audience would be interested in it, but 1 week I want to come on here and I want to do an actual political podcast. So you don't have to tell me now, but if that is something you're interested in doing, we can go ahead and do that.
Jeff, this is JP. I just want to say, if you did one of those shows, I'd be really interested to like be the fact finding guy for you. So I appreciate it.
I think he'd be good at that job. But I also think he
is Tony Reale.
I also think he'd be interested in that show.
I would do it with you clearly because I'm in Washington. I'm a poli-sci major and I hate politics.
The question to kind of go back to this topic is, you're in Washington. I know you do listen to Francesa, I guess, from time to time.
I can through the interwebs.
Through the World Wide Web.
Yeah, Al Gore created it.
God bless Al Gore. It's an inconvenient truth. I don't really listen to Francesa because I find him to be a blowhard. But if you could have anybody aside from us, which I think we would be the best choice to replace him, who would you like to hear in that time slot, Nick?
They were talking about someone like Phil Simms and Chris Simms doing like a show together.
Oh my God.
I actually really like Chris Simms. Not really a huge fan of Phil Simms, but I think if you have someone young like that, he could kind of provide a spark. I think Francesa is just so dull. You got to put someone with more energy in there.
Yeah.
Number one. Okay.
He's earned the right to play that role right now. But I think, I'll give you an interesting. I listen to the Sports Junkies here in DC on the way to work. They're on in the morning. They're the primo slot, and there's 4 guys there, and I think it's a really good, like, they've been doing it for 20 years, and they all went to University of Maryland, I think, and they're all like local guys. So it's a good little shtick. I think you need a little more energy, and that's kind of like Boomer and Carton, I guess, on some level.
I think the more the merrier sometimes,
Yeah. But then you look at the afternoon drive here, and it's Chad Dukes, and he is just brutal. And it's the same thing. Like, you put one big shot there, like, I don't even know who's hot in radio anymore. You could put there that's a local New York guy who could talk educated about the local teams.
I would love to see Han, Humpty, and Canty. They do the midday show on ESPN. So you got Rick DiPietro and Alan Hahn. So you got the hockey guy, and you got the basketball guy, and you got Canty, who's the football guy. They do an awesome show, and they got bumped from their slot leading into Michael Kay for dopey Stephen A. Smith, who ESPN just continues to give work to.
How does that guy still have a job?
But I think those 3 guys do an awesome job. Their show is funny, it's entertaining, and they know their crap. So I would love to see the Fan take a run at those guys. Unfortunately, I think they're probably going to go for some stupid name like Chris Christie, and he's gonna fail.
But how is he supposed to? It's a sports show.
He's going to fail. Look, do you remember way back in the day when Stern left terrestrial radio and he went to satellite radio?
Yeah.
They brought in David Lee Roth in New York to take his time slot, and he was goddamn awful. He wasn't a radio guy. He knew pop culture, and he knew music, and he knew whatever because he was David Lee Roth, but he was terrible, and he flamed out in like a year. And then they brought in Opie and Anthony for a little while, and they brought in this guy and that guy, and they've never really found that morning guy that did what Stern did, and sports talk has really taken over. Imus came back, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they're going to do in the afternoon. Is they're going to bring some clown in like Chris Christie, who has no business with the job. And he's going to suck, and Michael Kay is going to beat him because the Michael Kay show is better right now, in my opinion, than Francesa is. And the only reason why Francesa is holding on is because of legacy.
You should maybe get like Mike Greenberg.
Well, he's leaving Mike and Mike.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he can come back and do it.
What is he doing now?
Apparently, there's heat between those guys.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because Greenberg's leaving. He's leaving to do some TV show in the morning on ESPN, and he didn't tell Golick he wanted to do it. And so then, they just basically announced it, and Golick is going to do the show with his son and with, I think it's Trey
Wingo, yeah.
But, I knew something was up when I kept listening to that show, every once in a while, and they were never on together. Usually when you hear it and there's like a stretch of like 4 months where those guys are like on together like 7 or 8 times in a month, you realize that something's up.
What about Danny Cannell? He's available. That was a joke.
Well, all those ESPN guys. I mean, there's a lot of ESPN.
Cannell and Graham, they could talk about Giants football all day long and how terrible quarterbacks they were. They could bring on Jesse Palmer.
Ventura. Fuck. Jesse the Body.
They bring on Chris Christie in Francesa's slot. It's just going to be the death of WFAN.
They're going to do it. It's going to happen. You had here, I think, Nick, you had this, right? Kay versus Francesa.
Yeah, they had a feud that Kay was taking some shots at him. Because he was saying, his show's better, but even though the ratings say otherwise, he's like, our show has more energy, it's funny, and he's just kind of like someone that just blows into the microphone.
Like the way Paul breathes into the microphone?
Whatever, yeah, Paul.
Mike in the Bronx here.
Hey, Mike. I don't want to do the same fucking voice every time. I can't come up with a new voice. Hey, Mike.
You do
hey, Mike.
The same voice every time.
It's like vaudevillian. Hey, Mike, this is Charles. Radio said TV's box and killed it. See?
Yeah, 1 call for you, 1 for me. 2 calls for you, 1 for me. See? Yeah, see?
Hey, Mike, it's a real honor to be on the show, It's nice to talk to you for once,
That's
doing a great job. Don't listen to those hacks on ESPN.
I thought that was like a tough street, black guy, and then I turned into Rocky Balboa. We should do it. We should do a bit where Brett's blindfolded and we do different voices. And he has to tell us if it's a black guy or a white guy.
Good. And then we could do some other voice, and you could tell us what their last name ends in.
It's a great segment. Yeah, that'd be good. It's called Black or White, and you play Michael Jackson's Black or White intro into it. It's like
That'll get our ratings up.
That would get our ratings
We'll
up.
be on CNN next week.
You know what? I would welcome that.
Me too. That'd be bad.
Suddenly the podcast is trending upward. All right, last licks. What do you got? Yampo, you started on something. I don't even know if you remember what the hell it was.
Yeah, dude, it was Calvin Johnson just announced why he retired because Detroit never had a shot at winning the Super Bowl, which I think is kind of just. I mean, it's true, but God, that's just if you're a Lions fan and you just love this guy and he always took the high road and he was just a classy player. Not saying this is not a classy move, but the fact that it gets out like that and it's kind of said like that kind of stings the nostrils as a Lions fan. You got to think, right?
It smells like pure gasoline.
I mean, they already know, they killed Barry Sanders early. Then they killed Calvin Johnson early. It's like they get it.
They killed the auto industry early.
All right.
And they've been killing each other since 1955.
I got to tell you this because I was obviously in Detroit last week.
I'm sorry.
I went out with my wife. I went out with my wife and a buddy that I work with. And, he was trying to be funny. He was having a good time. We were at this new hotel called the Foundation Hotel. Great hotel. If you're ever in Detroit, check it out. And the apparatus room is there a little.
The good thing is about the Foundation Hotel, it's just the foundation because that's all they could have afforded to build. So it's
my God. You're so out of luck. You know what? Go to Detroit. Shameless plug for the city of Detroit. You'd have a good time. I went to a Tigers game. Had a great time.
No, thanks. I'm good.
Okay, you're a jerk off. We'll go to a Tigers-Yankee game on me. The ticket to the game is on me. That's it. You got to get there. You can drive with Brett because he doesn't like to fly. Anyway, the point is, we walk into the bar, we're having whatever, and one of the ladies behind the bar, she's got like some orange eyeliner on, and she got some big like hoop things going on. She's looking a little wacky.
One tooth.
She's looking a little overly hipster.
Detroit, some would say. She's looking a little Detroit.
And she asked, would we like some water? And his first response was, is it from Flint? And I was like, motherfucker, what is wrong with you? And she looked at him with laser beams coming out of her eyes and said, thanks, I'm from Flint.
And he said,
I was like,
it looks like you've been washing your hair there.
I was just mortified. I was like, oh, it's so cringeworthy. You ever know you're in those spots? Like anytime you're out with me in public, it's just cringeworthy. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Nick, you're going to find out when I come to Bar A.
Yeah, okay.
Bar A.
I used to crush Bar A back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day. We're talking like 2006.
Oh, yeah. I used to drive up every weekend for Naked Boy and the Milltown crew. They were in Belmar. They had a house. I'd drive up Friday after work, get up there, just black out, wake up to someone antiquing me, throwing flour in my face while I'm passed out.
That's about right.
Or one guy threw a cinder block on my leg. He thought that was funny.
That's funny. Yeah,
That was actually last weekend in Detroit.
Then I woke up, went to the Tropical Dumpster. Is that place still there? The Tropical Pub?
No, it's closed. It's gone.
Get really fucked up there and then go out to Bar A. All right, cool. I'll just keep talking.
Good stuff. Nick, last licks, anything?
I just think it's funny that Justin Turner and Daniel Murphy are two studs on the National League All-Star team, and they just happen to be ex-Mets that everyone wanted to run out of town because they thought they were too expensive.
You know what's funny? The Nats fans here love Daniel Murphy, and they're starting to love Daniel Murphy a little bit more than they're loving Bryce Harper. There's this like onset creeping in of like, fuck you, Bryce, you're leaving next year. It's like creeping in here in the mentality.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Murphy's batting 342 or something, and Justin Turner's having a great year for the Dodgers. He's had a great couple of years, and the Mets fans and organization wanted nothing to do with either of them. And now who's laughing now?
Speaking of horribly run franchises, I'll take the Mets for 600, please. I mean, they're in the same boat. They stink. Although they've had more success. I mean, they went to the freaking World Series. I'd kill somebody for an NBA Finals.
They should change their name from the Metropolitans to the Ponzi schemes.
The New York,
the New York Ponzi's.
And don't forget the New York Metropolitans. All right, well, that'll do it for tonight.
Oh God, that was such a quick hour.
We have a quick shout out to our men and women serving in uniform that are checking out our podcast in South Australia.
Oh, wave the flag.
We absolutely appreciate your listenership. Is that a word? Your listenership, as Nick shows the American man.
Your subscription.
We appreciate your downloads. We ask you to share that away with the USS Reagan that you're on right there. That'd be wonderful. And you can find us on all social media by checking out at Turn 2 Podcast. That's Turn number 2 Podcast. Our Snapchat.
Definitely lit.
Just,
Not lit.
just super, super lit.
Twitter is on fire. I keep getting crushed on Twitter. I mean, I like things. That's what I do. I like and I retweet.
Twitter's good too. So check us out. If you have somebody that you think might want to listen to our nonsense, let them know where to find us. You can find us pretty much anywhere now. We're all over the place. Stitcher, tune in, iTunes.
What is Stitcher?
It's one of those things that you just do. So,
Okay.
so until next time, folks, thanks for taking the time.
Desperandum, dear lady. Across the desert lies the promised land. Goodbye, Mrs. Gloop. Adieu. Auf Wiedersehen. Gesundheit. Fare thee well to you, my own true love. River Mercy, fare thee well. I am bound for California, a place that I know right well. So fare thee well, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I signed on a Yankee clipper ship. Davy Crockett is the name, and the captain's name, it is Burgess, and they say that she's a floating shame. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. Now I sailed with Burgess once before, and I think that I know him well. If a man's a sailor, he will get along. If he's not, then he's sure in hell. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. All right, Gio. Oh, the sun is on the harbor, love. Oh, I wish that I could remain, for I know that it will be a long, long time before I see you again. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee. One more time. So farewell, my own true love. When I return united we will be. It's not the leaving of Liverpool that's grieving me, but my darling, when I think of thee.
Well, my hangover's gone and I'm thirsty for more.